boys and girls, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of HBO's House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 4. I don't know the title of it, but it doesn't matter. If I would put a soft title for this episode, it'll be All Hell Has Officially Broken Loose. We're coming off of the heels of episode 3, where Rhaenyra snuck into King's Landing to have a one-on-one, a woman-to-woman, face-to-face conversation with Alicent, and it ended very interesting because they both came to the realization that what Viserys was telling Alicent in season 1, at the end of season 1, in his death, well, not the end of season 1, but the end of his life, it was a story. It wasn't about Aegon, his son. It was a story about Aegon the Conqueror, and they both came to that realization. And in this episode, we find the consequences, so to speak, of that conversation. Alicent is searching for the story of Ice and Fire and trying to get clarification on what she heard, even though deep down she believes Rhaenyra. Because let's not forget, yeah, they're sworn enemies now, but at one point they were basically sisters. They were joined at the hip. They loved each other and still do have a form of respect for one another. That's why she takes her at her word, so to speak, but it's too far gone. This is too far gone. And on Rhaenyra's side of the fence, her absence from Dragonstone is causing kind of a rip in her council. And it's just back and forth with that. And this was an excellent episode. I enjoyed this episode a lot. This is probably one of the best of the new season, of season 2 so far. It's directed by Alan Taylor, who directed many episodes of Game of Thrones, so he knows this material. He directed the first episode of this season and this one, and you could tell that this was in the hands of somebody who knows this property, this lore, and just runs with it. Now, that's not to say that nobody else is doing a good job. I really can't pinpoint any bad director on this show, but it's something about Alan Taylor and his direction on this show. It is top notch. Now, his filmography, that's a whole nother issue and a whole nother show that I'll discuss. But as of this, he's done a good job. This is definitely one of the most intense episodes of the season, if not of the first 2 seasons. Aside from the season finale, when we saw that dragon battle that ended the life of Rhaenyra's son by the hands of Aemon. And so, it's just like in that scene, just like in that scene, where we got the death of that, I think it was Lucaris. I can't think his name. I know it starts with an L. Aemon is the monster once again. And this was, I'm gonna tell you, and I know I'm skipping to the end, which is breaking protocol, but it's I'm gonna touch in on the rest of the show. But the ending of this episode was so well crafted, so intense. I really can't think of any other way to describe it. I mean, you was at the edge of your seat the entire final 10 minutes of this episode. It was just madness. We finally get the dragon battle that this show has been promising. It's the House of the Dragon. It's the Dance of the Dragons, as is known in the books. And we finally get our first step in that direction. Tonight's dragon battle was a memorable scene. I mean, a very memorable scene that's going to last throughout the rest of this show. But this was a bad episode, and not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good, for King Aegon. This I actually felt kind of bad for him at the end of this episode for some strange reason. And it's funny. It's funny because I was taking notes and I was like, man, he is slowly drifting into Joffrey territory, from Game of Thrones. He's slowly drifting into that as this privileged, snobby little king that you just want to slap to sleep. The whining and nobody's listening to me and all this other. I can't stand. But as the show progressed, and I'm just talking about this episode here, as the episode progressed, his character went through so much development, so to speak, not where he had an arc, not where he made this 180 switch or anything like that, but I kind of understood him. I kind of felt for him because he was thrown into this. When you really sit down and think about it, he didn't ask for this. He didn't ask to be king. He didn't ask for all of this power. He was thrown into this in the middle of a family squabble, and everybody knows that he's not the rightful heir to this throne. Yet he sits there and he's trying to be a king. We saw in episode 1 when he tried to be a good king, like when the guy came to him about the goats, oh, they took my goats and all this. Oh, we'll give you some more goats. And Otto Hightower was like, no, we can't do that. Like, no, those goats are to feed the dragons. We're gonna need to feed the dragon. You're like, oh, but can't we give him some of the goats back? He's trying to be a good king or a good man, not really thinking long term or how one thing can affect the other, and how it doesn't matter whether you're a king or a president or a mayor or whatever the case may be. You can't please everybody. I don't care what law you pass, what ruling you, what bill you sign. You're not going to satisfy everybody. And he didn't understand that. He just wanted to make everybody happy. He wanted everybody to like him. And once he realized that wasn't going to happen, that's when he turned into this snobbish figure that we got going right now. At least for a little while longer until the end of this episode. This in this little council meeting, we find out that Aemon and Kristen Cole have been communicating with one another, which undermined Aegon. And you're like, how you know where Kristen Cole is going? What is he doing? Why are you doing? And not including me. I'm the king, He's like, I'm the king. Why do I not know about all this? So Aemon, they talk in, I think, Venarian, and he kind of undermines Aegon, and it was just a demoralizing little situation for Aegon. Like I said, I felt bad. For him. And later on, while he's going to his chambers after he's just bored with the whole situation because nobody's listening to him at the council, he leaves. He goes to his room and he finds Alicent in the room, searching the cabinets and looking for books, so she asks, where's your father's books? She's like, oh, I had them removed, And so they're having a conversation and she's asking him, what's wrong? What's the problem? But she asks us in a way which was so disrespectful. She's like, what's the problem? It's like, what now? What's the issue? She doesn't care. And she really doesn't care about Aegon. And it shows. It showed in episode 2 when everybody was mourning for the death of that child, which is Aegon's child. And he's crying. And she had walked in and he was crying and she just walked right back out. She didn't comfort him or nothing. I'm like, man, Alicent, bruh. I mean, the dude need a shoulder here. Yeah. So he's telling her, like, look, nobody's listening to me and all this here. And she kind of undermines him, when she tells him the truth. She does tell him the truth. Like, you don't listen to me. You didn't listen to your grandsire. You didn't listen um um to anything that we were saying. All of the council, they've been here. They earned their spots there. They know what they're doing. You who are you? What do you know? I mean, she was saying the truth. It was just the delivery, I guess you could say, and it was her bedside matter wasn't all that good. But speaking of bedside, going back to Allison. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but is Allison pregnant? Because when she had the rocks that was by the fireplace, she put it in a towel and she put it on her stomach, and it was something that she was drinking. That old boy, Lord Strong, the master of whispers, he looked at it and noticed that it was kind of weird that she's drinking this, and it's like, is she trying to give herself an abortion or something? I don't know what it is, but if she comes up pregnant, that just blows all the wheels off. Now, this was before the end of this episode where there's more pressing issues, but that's still an issue. So I'm just curious. Or is she having her monthly visit by Aunt Flo? I don't know. I didn't live in those times. I don't know how that works. But she was, it just seemed weird. It caught me off guard. Like, they paid a little bit more attention to the details of what she was doing, with the rocks, the hot rocks on her stomach, and what she was drinking. And she was drinking a lot of wine with her son in that scene that we was just previously talking about, and stuff like that. It's like she's in the look, even her look, and the master of whispers pointed that out to her. Like, you look kind of, a little off. And and she shoes it off, and she like, look, my husband died weeks ago, my grandson whatever died, and this, that, and the third. We're going to war. Yeah, of course I wouldn't look too good. And so all that made sense. All that checks. But it was just weird that she was doing that. I don't know. My mind went to that, but I would love to know your thoughts when we wrap up the show. You can leave it in comments and whatnot. But I would love to know what you think is going on there. But needless to say, let's address the elephant in the room. There's a lot that took place in this episode that is worth talking about, but my mind is so stuck on the final 10 minutes of this episode that I really can't focus on anything else. Yeah, I really can't. Well, let's get to the setup. This is how it was set up. Now, Kristen Cole, who I can't stand, it's official. I can't stand him. I mean, I'm borderline hatred there for Kristen Cole. Now, he devised this plan to go take Rook something, and instead of going to where Damon is. Now, Damon, that's a whole nother subject that I'm not going to get to today, but that was a cool little part of the episode with him at that castle, and he's being haunted to an effect. But Kristen Cole decides not to go that way. He's going the other way. He's going to take this castle. It's a small castle, so it's like, why even go there? But there's a reason. It was basically a trap. It was a setup to get a dragon there. Not just any dragon, but Rhaenyra. He wanted to lure Rhaenyra out of Dragonstone. And it almost worked. It almost worked. But Rhaenys decided, look, send me. Don't you go, I'll go. And this once she said that, I already knew what was about to happen. It was already telegraphed at that moment. I was like, oh no, not Rhaenys. Please, not Rhaenys. But the battle is happening, and Rhaenys shows up with her dragon, and Kristen Cole isn't fazed by this at all. He sends a signal. He gets two people to shoot off flaming arrows. That was the signal. And just past the horizon there, we see Aemon and his beast of a dragon just laying low, waiting for that signal. And he's about to take off, and he looks up and he sees Aegon. Now, Aegon, he got drunk. Like I said, he's tired of being disrespected. I guess he wanted to earn respect. And so he suits up and hops on his dragon to come and join the fight. And so this throws off the plan. This is a little monkey wrench into the plan, of course. Once Aemon saw Aegon, he laid low. He was like, he's an idiot. I don't know why he's here. It throws everything off. So whatever the case, Aegon and Rhaenys and their dragons have a dance in the sky. That was a beauty. I love this scene. I just love this scene. I love the battle. Even with them going at it in the air, they're still affecting what's going on the ground, taking out those soldiers. It was just beautifully choreographed and shot. Rhaenys has the upper hand, of course, because she has the experience. Aegon has zero battle experience, and you could tell. And this is where we saw Aemon join the fight. Aemon comes in, he torches, well, I'm going to put heavy quotations on this. He tries to torch Rhaenys and her dragon, but instead hits Aegon and his, and sends them into a fiery spiral straight down to the ground. And so then we get the battle between Rhaenys and Aemon, who are going at it like Brahma bulls in the sky. Of course, Aemon has the bigger, stronger dragon, and eventually gets the upper hand. And basically, his dragon broke Rhaenys' dragon's neck. I mean, just bit through it and killed it. And we see that epic shot of Rhaenys just accepting her fate when the dragon falls out of the sky onto the castle, and that's that. Now, in film and television rule, this is a law, basically. If you don't see a body, assume they're not dead. I find that hard to believe with this particular case. I think Rhaenys is dead. We didn't see the body. We saw the impact, but we also saw her strap herself onto that dragon. So it's not like parachutes existed, airbags existed. I don't see that happen. But we didn't see her actually die, and we didn't see her dead body. But let's just assume that this is the end. I don't think she's making it out of this. Speaking of not making it out of it, the very last shot of this show, Criston Cole is looking for the king. Walking into the forest to find him, he sees Aemon walking in and sheathing his sword. And that was the curious part for me. We didn't see him do nothing per se, but why did he put his sword up? And as they walk closer, and he asks Aemon, "Where's the king?" And they look over and they see Aegon's body laying next to his dragon. And Criston Cole drops his helmet and like, oh my God. And the episode ends like that. And so we're in the thick of it now. It is truly no point of return here. This is it. We are full on war. The king is down and out, I'm assuming. Once again, they didn't really show where he died or how he died, because I'm skeptical. I'm thinking Aemon, number one, shot him out the air on purpose and killed him when he was on the ground. That's my thoughts. So let's not forget, last episode, Aegon embarrassed him, shamed him in that brothel. belittled him even. And so he has some disdain, and he always has some disdain for that because he wants to be king as well. And so there's that there. Uh, how is it going to be in King's Landing? When word gets back to Allison and everybody there, how is it going to be at Dragonstone when Rhaenyra finds out about this? When the Lord, Rhaenys' husband finds out, and all this here, this is pure madness. This is this is pure madness, and I am so happy to experience this. I wasn't gonna record this today. I wasn't. I was like, I'll wait till tomorrow. But I forgot to mute on X House of the Dragon. I normally mute it on Sundays, just in case I don't watch it when it first drops live, or however you want to say it, when it first premieres. And so that'll give me an opportunity to watch it without being spoiled. And I didn't mute it today because I took this opportunity. My daughters, and I know this has nothing to do with House of the Dragon, but I want to explain something. I'm trying to make a point, people. My daughters are into Love Island on Peacock, and they got me into it. I'm into it, and I was so excited for the new episode that came out Sunday. I said, okay, I can sacrifice House of the Dragon. It's only episode 4. They probably not going to do anything big until maybe next week or the week after in episode 5 or 6. And so that was my thoughts. That was my thoughts. Because it comes on at the same time. And so after Love Island went off, and I went in the bag and I said, well, maybe I'll go watch House of the Dragon. I said, nah, I'm not going to watch it. And go to lay down, and my phone just was going nuts. It was going bananas with major death and all this. Whoa. And so I had to hurry up, flip the phone over, and watch. Turn on Max and watch it. I even told my wife, because she asked, like, you gonna watch House of the Dragon? Nah, I ain't watching it tonight. I'll watch it tomorrow and do a recap afterwards. And I was fully prepared to go to bed, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I was like, well, I can't do that because I can't go throughout the day tomorrow and get spoiled. And I know I'm going to get spoiled. So I had to do it. And I'm so glad that I did. The only downside to that, I'm wide awake now. And so I'm going to have to take something, I don't know, to go to sleep. But I'm wide awake now. But it is a joy to experience this show on Sunday nights. This is premiere viewing. It won't happen again. I will sacrifice House of the Dragon no more. But I would like to know, what are your thoughts of episode 4 of House of the Dragon season 2? Look, man, I am so hyped up for the remaining episodes of this season. I think we have 8 episodes in total. So this was the mid-season finale, I guess. So we have 4 more episodes to go. Oh boy, this is going to be an interesting month on on Sundays. But I would like to know, what are your thoughts of not only this episode, but of the season so far? Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look up the KB Radio Network on all social media platforms, as well as YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Concession Stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 4, entitled The Red Dragon and the Gold. Can't wait to speak to you next week for Episode 5. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.